Okay, good afternoon everybody. Shaun, Allison, Durrington High School. I'm going to start off by talking very much about a personal sporting journey that I went on. I was once, this may come as a surprise, I was at the top of my game in a sport. I was in the top 20 in the country and I was #1 in Worthing actually. And the sport was Subbuteo. Not quite sure why the laughter is the unnecessary there. I was a proud member of the Worthing 5-star Table Football Club and represented them at national events at a very, very high level. I've retired now, but the strength is still there in the finger. But this gentleman here was my nemesis. His name is Craig Heward. He used to live locally. He doesn't anymore. He lives in Yorkshire. But as you can see, he was a very smug chap and he was very good at table football and still is because he wins lots of trophies there. And as you can see from the table, he was quite successful, okay? As I'm sure you're aware, if you're interested in sports locally, he dominated the Subbuteo scene in Worthing throughout the 80s and the 90s. He was unstoppable. He was an unstoppable force. I started playing Subbuteo and I accepted that I was never going to beat Craig Heward. I accepted that I would just have to be second and that was it. That was until I met this gentleman. Some of you may be aware of who he is. Eric Verhagen. Dutch table football player, world #1. And at the London international event, I was drawn against the mighty Eric Verhagen to play him in the group stages. We set up and we started playing. I noticed, because I'd watched him before, that he was a right-handed player. He was playing left-handed, which I thought was a bit of an insult, really. But he continued to play left-handed and he beat me convincingly, 10-1, okay? 10-1, left-handed, I was crushed. I spoke to him afterwards and I said, Eric, what's your secret? And he said these things here. He set himself the goal of being world #1 in 12 months. Scrutinised the best players in the world. 5 hours of practice every day. I should point out at this point that his parents were millionaires. Eric didn't have to work. That's why he played Subbuteo all day. He didn't believe he would ever lose, and at the end of every game he sat down with his teammates and discussed how I could have played better. So I took that on board and I went away and I practiced. I still had to work, but I practiced and practiced and practiced. And that happened. In 2001, I knocked Craig Heward off his lofty perch and I was the champion of Subbuteo in Worthing. Feel free for a round of applause there, colleagues. And if you needed any evidence, there was the newspaper article. There he was, still looking smug. So I'd done it. And what was the lesson that I learnt there? Well, I learnt that hard work, effort, practice, determination can get you anywhere. You can't be an instant genius. It's about hard work and effort. So, how do we then translate that ethos, that culture, that idea into a large secondary school like Durrington High School? That's been the issue for us. Because, our students, they start off being curious, they're experimenting, they're learning, they're tackling hard tasks again and again and again as young children, and then they come to us and they turn into that. Okay? I can't do it, I'm stuck. I can't be bothered, it's too hard, not clever enough. He's a boff, I'm not. Can I do something easier? I'm at my meg, so I'm all right. What's the point in showing me that? I'll never be able to do it. So that's the challenge for us. And I think that what is at the heart of that is this idea of mindset. I don't think that it's a fad. I don't think that it's a gimmick. I think that there is really something in this. And if we can start to shift the mindset of our young people, we can make a huge difference. Now, I'm sure that you're aware of the work of Carol Dweck, this idea of fixed mindset, the talent ability is fixed and can't be changed as opposed to growth. where it can be developed through effort and practice. Fixed, look smart at all costs, don't want to fail. Growth, no risks about looking smart, so they dive into challenges. These are the kind of students that we want, aren't they? Fixed, again, achievement should come naturally. Hard work and effort is key when it comes to growth. That's the kind of Homer Simpson approach, isn't it? If you've had to try too hard, you've failed, okay? And that's the problem with the fixed mindset. And fixed, hide mistakes and deficiency, whereas growth, capitalise on mistakes and learn from them. So we've been doing an awful lot at Durrington about how we can embed that into our students, and we've been thinking about it a lot. And it's a dangerous thing to start thinking about a lot, because it makes you question everything we do in education and in schools. We've used posters and assemblies. I think they're fine, but there's a big but there. You know, that only goes a part of the way. You know, we've got growth mindset posters. I've done the growth mindset assemblies, but it's only a little bit of the challenge, I think. The biggest thing is what we do day in, day out with students, and it's about how we speak to them. Okay, words have power when it comes to mindset, I think. I'm going to share with you some things that I think, as teachers, we've probably said, okay? And I've got one of my ex-students sat at the back filming, and he can probably vouch that I've probably said some of these things to him and his friends. And I think some of these we just need to think about. If your target is level 5, you can do the extension tasks. Now, what sort of message is that giving to our young people, okay? You know, if you've got this label of a level 5, well done. You can challenge yourself. If you haven't, don't bother. You're not going to get there. Fulfill your academic potential. Most of us will have said that, but it's a strange thing, isn't it? If we're saying someone has got an academic potential, then aren't we saying they've got some kind of predetermined limit to what they can achieve? And I think it's these sorts of things that we need to be thinking about. You're naturally talented at this. Again, okay, that's fine if you're told you're naturally talented. What about this person here if they're not? Is there such a thing as natural talent? Well, if you have a look at the work of Matthew Syed in his book Bounce, you'd probably believe that that isn't the case. Top-end challenge. There's nothing wrong with top-end challenge. Nothing wrong with that. But I never hear, or I very rarely hear, teachers, schools talking about the importance of low-end challenge, or in fact, challenge for all. You know, why aren't we focusing on challenging all of our students? You've done really well. You must be so clever. Okay, that's so fixed mindset. What about you've done really well? That must be because you've put loads of hard work into that. You've really tried hard. Well done, you've reached your target. You're a 5B. I don't believe that anyone really knows what a 5B is. It's a stupid label, and that's why schools must scrap Key Stage 3 levels. They're pointless. They don't mean anything. Okay, they satisfy us and spreadsheets, but that's all they do. Never mind, you tried your best. Okay, that's not great, is it? That's, well, you know, I've tried with you, but I can't really be bothered anymore. I'm going to move on. You've tried your best. Okay, you can almost see the teacher patting them on the head, can't you? Well done, you've tried your best. I won't do that with this class. They're low ability. Okay, again, we're setting a ceiling on our expectations. Why not give it a go? Surprise ourselves, surprise the students. I believe strongly that what students achieve is capped by our expectations of them. If you're aiming for a C, do X. If you're aiming for an A, do Y, okay? Similar to almost some learning objectives. I think that's a really dangerous thing that we've done, okay? You know, we're saying to students that, you know, all of you should do that, but, you know, some of you, you don't need to bother about this because you'll never get there because you've got this strange label of a 3B. And that'll do. Well done, okay? That'll do. No, that won't do. If it's not great, get them to do it again. How can they improve it? How can they redraft it? This is a wall in our school, and you know, what we've tried to do is, you know, we use this wall to put up examples of excellent student work. Okay, they're not pretty posters, but they're work that students have put in hard work to, hard graft. They've had to redraft They've had to do it again and again and again. And that's a whole subject. Okay, that's an English display. And that lasts for 3 weeks, and then the next subject puts their work up. It's about celebrating excellence and making it okay to be striving for excellence. I think in summary, if we're going to really embrace growth mindset, we have to think about it in everything that we do in schools, everything that we do. And just to summarise, I think I know that I'm starting to have an impact in my school when I get messages like this on Facebook on a Saturday night from staff members. How old's Chloe? Yeah, I should point out that's a teacher, not a student. And this one, also a teacher. He's a mathematician, not an English teacher, as you can tell. But you can start to see how, we're starting to, just make teachers change the way they think about these things. And this is not a new thing, okay? This isn't a new thing, okay? If we go back to Virgil, Roman poet, success nourishes them, they succeed because they think they can. And, that's the sort of attitude, that's the kind of ethos and culture that I think, we should be instilling in our schools and with our students. And it needs us to be brave, and it needs us to ignore certain things that other people might like us to do and do the right thing for our students, set the bar high and expect them to achieve well. And they probably will. Thank you very much. All right.